Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Titletown Sports Podcast. We're going to talk about some sports. I'm Melissa.
What's up? I'm Craig.
That's Craig.
It's kind of right in the name, you know? But in case you couldn't put it together based on the title of the program, yes,
we
will
know
be
where our
discussing
listeners are at.
sports
Let's not
ball.
assume things here. Yeah, we have some good stuff that we're going to hit on. We're going to talk about that dredge of a Patriots game.
Yeah, a little brutal, but we're going to pick through it.
We might as well.
It's what we do.
We're also going to hit on some big highlights coming out of the Red Sox camp this week, though. So
Yeah.
that's exciting.
For sure. Have a couple calls this week.
Nice.
We had a couple people take up our offer of calling in their takes.
Yeah.
904-87-TT-POD
Nice.
is the number in case you feel the same way. You out there with your bubbling hot sports takes that you've been sitting on.
We know you want to. You
Yeah.
got ideas. You got thoughts. You
Yeah.
think we're stupid. That's fine.
I see the text messages.
Yeah.
They should just be voicemails. What are you afraid of?
Yeah. It's fine. We won't answer, I promise.
Yeah, it's not a big
Jesus.
deal. Just do it.
Anyway.
Anyhow, enjoy the episode and we'll see you soon.
Hi, Craig. How are you?
Burnsy, hi.
I was like, who's that?
Same. What's going on?
Not too much. Ready to talk about this week?
Yeah, I'm ready. It's
All
the
right.
morning.
I know. It's very weird. We're drinking coffee. It's raining.
That's what you do. Yeah, I guess. Well, this is it's been sufficiently awkward small talk. Let's get into the
All right,
shit.
let's move around. We're going to start on a high note with the Red Sox. They had a great week. They hit 100 wins for the first time since 1946.
And then 101, and then 102, and then 103.
Yeah, they've been on a tear. They swept the Jays and took 2 out of 3 against the Mets, which thank God those are both bomb-ass teams. So if they'd lost those, that would not have been great. They're heading into a midweek series. It actually starts this afternoon, which is weird.
Yeah, day game on a Tuesday.
I know. Bizarro.
Weird.
It's in the
I
stadium.
wonder if it's a makeup game. Yankees had all those rain delays, remember?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that
Is it
too.
a double header? Do they play tonight also? I don't think so.
No.
just the
I
1
think
o'clock.
it's just a weird-ass Tuesday day game.
Sure.
Like, not even midsummer. School's in session. Like, I don't know who the fuck's going to be there.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Who's in charge? Take it up with Manfred.
Well, the Red Sox magic number's down to 2, which basically means win and you clinch the division.
Yeah, if they win one of these games,
Which I think they can handle that.
I think they can handle
the
that.
Yankees have not been doing well.
That's true.
The magic number has just steadily been decreasing
Yeah.
quickly.
I think they're back 11 and a half games, if I looked it up this morning, if
Yeah.
that is still correct.
Sure. Should be. They haven't played yet.
Brutally far.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, too. A couple years ago, the Red Sox clinched in Yankee Stadium, clinched the division in Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
and it was on a fucking Joe Kelly gave up a walk-off grand slam to Mark Teixeira. But then somehow that still wound up with them clinching the division. So they did like the whole like champagne
Oh, I
thing.
remember that.
In the visiting locker room at Yankee Stadium after just getting like
After
their
losing.
dramatic fashion too. Walk off
Yes.
fucking grand slam. And then you go immediately into like champagne, like woo. Very weird.
I think they needed Baltimore to lose in order to clinch the
Yeah,
division. and,
obviously
like,
some
that
other
happened.
thing
Yeah.
happened, but
That was very bizarre.
Hopefully they can have a more dignified celebration this year. If they actually fucking win the game.
I know. Can you imagine if they just get swept out of this series? That
That'd
would
be brutal.
Yeah. This week also saw the return of Chris Sale from the DL. He had some limited starts. I think he's up to like 60 pitches now, but
Yeah.
he looked good and he looked strong and he looks like he's ready for a good postseason run.
And
So,
everything that he's been saying in interviews has basically been like, I'm fine.
I
This is
could go
just
more.
like a thing
Yeah.
we're doing so that I'm like extra good.
Right.
He's like, I'm not injured. I feel fucking fine.
Great.
He's been going. They've been taking him out of the games, and he's been like continuing to throw in the bullpens
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
after he's out.
Yeah, which is
which is
weird.
cool. I mean, it just to like I don't know, keep firing.
Right. You might as well if you can do it.
Yeah.
Work.
Love the approach.
Yeah. So happy to see that. Happy to have him back. And we're getting ready for the postseason now.
Yeah. On a less happy note,
Yeah.
not much going on in Celtics land other than this Jabari Bird stuff, which is like the details of it are coming out, and it's really not a cool story at all.
Getting worse.
So we got more details about that incident from last week, and apparently he strangled his girlfriend multiple times and eventually stopped when he passed out with seizure-like symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah,
that
no.
all around. Well, we were wondering why the fuck was he in the hospital?
Yeah, exactly.
And
now we know. Oh.
And he and the team have released statements about it. And domestic violence claims are handled by the league office. So Jabari Bird is taking some time away, and then we'll see what kind of discipline they bring down on the young man. Yeah, not great.
It's not great. The Celtics handled it as well as they could, I would say. They released a statement like very strongly coming out against him and his actions and like didn't try to beat around the bush or hide it.
Yeah.
I think from an organizational standpoint, you know, they did a good job of like supporting their player and helping him get the help that he needs, but also like
strongly condemning his actions at the same time.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. Well, this is also an easy one. Like, he sucks. He's a rando. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
sure.
yeah, if you can't,
It's not Kyrie.
If your organization can't handle like your third string point guard in a domestic violence issue and coming out on like the right side of history, then like you're really fucking turned around.
Well, we've seen organizations not be
well,
so
yeah, but like
successful
that's what
with
I'm
that in
saying.
the
If it's
past.
like a star player, shit gets
Yeah.
squirrely. So
Right.
you know,
Anyway.
good job Celtics, but
Yeah.
like easy one. You know,
Take the win. Take the win, damn it. Let's move over to the Bruins. They officially kicked off their preseason this week.
I wish I had a gong sound effect.
Oh. They had split squad games, which like, Jesus.
Really?
Yeah. They were playing both domestically and in China. So
Oh,
they play, yeah, it was like
Okay.
baseball style. They played the Flames in China.
yeah.
Won in a shootout.
Yeah, dramatic. Ryan Donato.
Yeah,
and Jake DeBrusk.
Fucking Ryan Donato.
Looked great in that shootout.
And then they played the Capitals here in the U.S. Also won.
I was so confused by that Capitals game. I thought it was in China.
I couldn't figure out what was going on until I realized the split squad thing. And I was like, how the fuck they get enough players to do that?
That's a good question.
They've got to
but
have the entire Providence team
pretty much
split between them two
Pretty
right
much.
now. It's the
Oh,
only
that
option.
makes so much sense. I was looking at, you know what it was? I saw pictures of the Calgary, of the Washington game. And I was like, there's so many white people in the stands. Did people like fly to China to see this or whatever? But that actually makes sense. They were here.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
other guys were in China.
The Bruins did sign a Chinese goalie to be their third string goalie in the second game that they have coming up this week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, little fun fact for you. I got a lot of information. Anyway, the real big news, though, is that defenseman Adam McQuaid was traded to the New York
Fan
Rangers.
favorite, Adam McQuaid.
Very sad to see him go. The Bruins get back Steven Kampfer and 2 draft picks. So that's nice. Fun fact, Kampfer actually was a rookie with the Bruins when they won the Cup in 2011, but his name was never engraved on it because he only played 38 games, and apparently you have to play 41 to get on the Cup. But the
That
Bruins
is a
petitioned.
fun fact that I did not know.
Yeah, they petitioned the league to try to get him on the Cup, and they said no.
I think they also petitioned the league to get Mark Savard on the cup.
Yeah.
And they said yes.
That's interesting.
I think he's on there.
Well, not Steve Kampfer.
Another example of star players getting different treatment than rando scrubs. Yeah, a lot of people were upset about Adam McQuaid. I am not one of those people. Love you, mean it, love the fights.
Yeah.
But he was very overpaid and was rarely healthy.
Right. And he was
Adios.
getting older, and they got a ton of young defensemen like coming up through the minor league system
Tons.
that they need to make space for. And this is not the Claude Julien Bruins anymore, so we actually
Sure
play
ain't.
young players.
They score goals.
Right.
And it's awesome.
So we need some room for them.
Onto the flash flood warning, folks. We got a flash flood warning. Shut up.
Until 2:15. Jesus.
Oh man. Well, if you never hear this podcast, then you know how me and fucking Melissa went out.
mean,
A
we're
wash and a flood.
We're in low ground near a lake. It's
It's true. It's not out of this
we're
realm
not
of
in the
possibility.
safest location for a flash flood warning.
All right. Now that the flash
Anyway.
flood's over, you want to get to the Patriots?
Oh God.
Well, what a week.
I don't know if I do.
For those that maybe didn't catch the game,
live under a rock.
Patriots dropped the second game of the season to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 31-20. Tough to see the Patriots lose like they did on Sunday, but this is not the first time that they've had a bad loss early in the season. Couple examples. In 2017, they got last year crushed by the Chiefs in week 1. Obviously went
We
on
all
to
remember that.
make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
2016, they lost week 4 to the Bills. In 2014, they lost the season opener to the Dolphins, and then they lost in week 4 to the Chiefs. And obviously 2014, they went to the Super Bowl and won it. 2017, they went to the, whatever. Obviously.
Yeah. All those years they ended up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh,
2
I
they
gotcha.
won, and 1 they lost.
That's why you picked the years you did. I get it. Big news on the trade market. They traded for Josh Gordon. Flash from the Cleveland Browns. The Browns got back a 5th-round pick, and there's some contingencies based on suspensions and drug use and shit like that. If he plays 10 games, it changes what the deal is. Basically, if he contributes a lot, then the Browns get slightly more, and if he doesn't do anything, then the Browns get slightly less. Right?
Yeah, if he plays 10 games, they It's just straight up Josh Gordon for a 10th round. My God, I'm going to start again. If he plays 10 games,
Yeah.
it's Josh Gordon for 5th round pick. If he doesn't play 10 games, the Patriots get back a late round pick, like a 6th or 7th round pick.
Gotcha. Yeah. And for those that may not know, Josh Gordon is an extremely fast and extremely talented wide receiver who does not play football a lot because he loves drugs. He missed the entire 2015 season and the entire 2016 season. Played 5 games in 2017, has logged 1 game so far this year. He's played 11 games since 2014.
Yikes.
That's like the headline stat. 11 games played since 2014 in the NFL. But like the guy is a fucking animal. I mean, like just from a talent perspective, he can like, he's that guy. So I don't know.
Yeah, and he's not injured. He just keeps getting suspended.
He is well rested.
Yeah.
You could say.
Not a lot of tread on his tires.
But yeah, that's, the only potentially good news that came out of this week in Patriot land because they got whooped by the Jaguars up and down the field. Really no redeeming qualities that I can think of coming out of that game. So let's jump right into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
So where would you like to start? What phase of the game would you like to start in? Because I think we got gripes about all 3.
Oh, we sure do. They weren't great on any of them. In fact, I would say they were downright terrible on all 3 of them.
All right.
Why don't we just start with the offense?
Let's.
Okay. We might as well just jump right in.
So I got a couple thoughts about the offense.
Okay. Give them to me.
Here's number 1.
Okay.
It was like roughly 200 degrees in Jacksonville on Sunday.
Yeah, I know, because they were holding up the thermometer on the side.
Which is we like it when the Patriots do that when it's cold. We'll let the warm weather teams do it when it's hot.
No, I mean the sideline reporter was holding it up.
Oh, that was so funny. I remember the little kitchen thermometer too. Not even like the big clock.
Yeah, like
the
you
big
couldn't even
clock
see
face
it.
one.
Like, you don't.
It's like a little digital, like the.
You can just like say
rice
it.
timer.
It's cool. Like just run a scroll. I get it. It's Florida in September. Like
when you say it's 97 degrees, we can all picture the 9 and the 7 next to each other.
Like,
you don't need to show it to us.
You want to crack an egg on the sidewalk and just prove how hot it is? Like Jesus.
I would have appreciated that more than the thermometer.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so it's 1,000 degrees. The Pats don't have a great history of,
they sure don't.
Pick your choice of one of these early season Miami games where it's like 90 plus, whatever. Yeah. They threw a couple stats up of like Brady era warm weather games, and it's not
they're not
great.
good. They're not. And I think he's won like 2 out of 5.
Yeah, and it's sort of chicken or the egg. Like, is it because it's early in the season and they usually sort of have this slow start kind of thing going, or is it because it's hot? Well, who knows? But at the end of the day, all these September, really hot games, they generally don't do well.
Yeah.
That's number 1. Number 2, I felt like, and this is specific to the offense, I felt like they had a weird approach to this game.
Oh, do you think they had an approach at all?
Well, I do actually, because I think like first quarter, Sony Michel gets the ball handed to him. Like,
yeah, we get the first Sony Michel sighting of the year.
Like, this is your rookie running back, high draft pick, albeit, but like rookie running back who missed all of camp, missed the entire preseason.
Right.
It's like, so literally your first possession of the game, you're going to hand it to Sony Michel 3 times, then punt. Like, it just seemed weird
bizarre
to me. Rob Gronkowski was targeted like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he was basically double teamed the entire game, which is
but
smart.
He was double teamed in Houston when they played Houston too, and
Brady trusted it then.
Drilled it in there. I don't know. The offensive approach to me felt like they almost didn't care about this game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, would you even consider they had an approach? It felt like the way they were playing, you would have thought they were up 30-0.
And they were just
like
trying to salt away a lead from the first half of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were just trying to make it to the end. And it felt like they had no rhythm. They had no pacing. They even had that long drive, and it took them 8 minutes. Like an 8-minute drive for Tom Brady?
Generally a good thing, but like not when you're down.
Right. And that's not usual. Like normally when you're down and they need to like hurry up, like he is great at moving the ball and good pacing and getting to the line and keeping things moving. And they ended up only getting a field goal. Like they drove all the way down the field and ended up with a field goal. So like you didn't even get 7 on the board for that.
Right. And you're bleeding away the clock, which you need.
You need it. They don't. Right. A long, slow drive can be good, again, if you're up 30-0.
Right.
When you're down and you need every second, it just felt slow and plodding, and like they weren't aggressive and they didn't have any rhythm to them, and they just...
And not to say that Jacksonville's defense wasn't a big part of that too. I mean, this is like one of the best defenses in the league, but I just felt like the decision making, like pre-snap, like just like where you're gonna go with the ball, had nothing to do with Jackson. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Jacksonville's defense is so good that it got in their heads and they made like weird decisions play calling wise. But like I felt like they were calling wacky plays and not going to the guys that they would otherwise go to win games. Like didn't see a lot of James White, didn't see a lot of Rob Gronkowski. And I don't think it was just because they were like smothered.
Right.
Because usually like the Gronk thing specifically, like we saw like multiple times just last week, Rob Gronkowski double covered and they just drill it into him. And like Rob Gronkowski's never really covered. He's a fucking animal.
Right. And he's a giant. Like he can just reach up and pull the ball out. I also felt like there were so many times where I was like, this is where it turns around. This is where it turns around. Like,
well, Jacksonville, they tried to give the game away in the third quarter there. They had the fumble and then the pick, and you were like, oh, here we go.
Here comes Tom. And then it just wasn't.
Yeah.
They even threw a stat up like at halftime. I don't know. The Patriots have been down by 18 plus points 2 previous times going into halftime, and they won both games.
Like all time?
Tom Brady.
Brady led Patriots all time.
Yeah.
Down by 18, and they won both.
Yeah.
One of them's got to be the Super Bowl, right?
One was the Atlanta Super Bowl, and one was some random game.
I bet it was a Monday Night Football Denver game. There was some ridiculous comeback that happened there.
Oh, look at that.
I don't know. We'll look that
Pulling
up later.
Yeah, we don't care.
Anyways.
Just trust me. Tony Romo said it. It must be true.
That side of the ball, offense, not great. Jacksonville defense, got to hand it to them. I mean, this was like their Super Bowl. They literally were quoted after the game but saying, Tishwan Gibson or something, one of their safeties was like, I feel like we won the Super Bowl, man. And it's like, whoa, it's September.
Yeah, it's week 2.
Week 2, champions of week 2.
I have a question for you about the offense.
Melissa.
And their play calling.
Uh-huh.
There was a play, third quarter. I'm going to say, third quarter.
Sure.
The Patriots get the ball back. They're moving the ball. They are in Jacksonville territory. Like they are close to their own end zone there. It's not great field position.
Yeah.
They make a first down. It gets reversed on a challenge. And it's like 4th and inches. Would you have gone for it?
This was towards the end of the game where they like changed the spot of the ball and then punted.
Yeah.
I think that was on the Pat side of the field. But yes, same. Other than that, all the details are accurate.
Whatever.
Fuck yeah. I was saying at the time that like 4th and inches, if you're down anywhere on the field, pretty much, I would say go for it. Like we've all seen Tom Brady with the QB sneak. It's automatic. He just falls forward. Like that's all you got to do. That's all he's ever done. That's all you need in that situation. And that was, you were down by a couple of scores, or I think you were down by 10, 24-10, I want to say it was. So you down by 2 scores.
It was manageable that you could
there was 8 minutes left in the quarter. Like, oh yeah, the game was not lost. Once they punted, the ensuing, I think the first down play from Jacksonville was that like long touchdown run when the dude was coming across the middle, then like ran down the sort of nearest to the camera sideline. And then it was done. 31-10. At that point, it was like, okay, fuck. But you know, that's another example of like, did they really want this game? Like, offensively, were they really like firing all their guns? Like, did they? Because if they were, I don't think they punt in that spot. 4th and inches, down by 2 scores in the 4th quarter of a game. Like, you go for that. You got to go for that. You're sort of fucked if you punt it, and you're fucked if you miss it. So why not just go for it? Like, giving them the ball back when you haven't been able to stop Blake freaking Bortles all day is basically like, you know. And it turned out that it did salt the game away for Jacksonville because they scored. Right. So it's like, go for it. What do you got to lose?
Well, yeah, and even if they've scored on a short field, at least you got more time left.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, they ended up scoring pretty quick, so it didn't really take a lot of time anyway. But if they'd ended up like having to drive down the field, they're taking more time off the clock.
Right. And what really should have happened, maybe this can get us to our next phase of the game, special teams.
Yeah.
On that play, so they were awarded a first down on 3rd down. When I think it was either James White or Sony Michel, I forget who, one of the running backs went out of bounds, and they spotted the ball right on the first down marker, gave him the first down. Yeah. Doug Marrone throws the challenge flag. They challenge it, move the ball back like 3 inches to make it no longer a first down.
Right. I was shocked that he won that challenge.
Me too.
Because from the camera angles you could see, I was like...
I can't think of a time that I've ever seen a spot of the ball challenge.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's a rare
one.
one.
Do that? Like when he threw the flag, I was like, is this even a thing you can do? Can you challenge spot of the ball?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was watching it with someone else and we questioned that too.
Apparently you can.
But apparently clearly you can.
Yeah. And they scooched it back, like literally. Like,
yeah. I was just shocked that like he won that challenge. That they didn't just go with the call on the field just because it was so close. And like there wasn't, it was a generous spot. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But that happens. Like,
Yeah,
that's
right.
not weird. And it wasn't so egregious that I felt like it was easily overturned.
Watching the challenge, I was pretty confident they were going to let the call stand.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
No.
Then they go to punt,
Yeah.
which, as we just discussed, I don't think that was the right decision.
Right.
And fucking Joe Schmo, Jacksonville Jaguar, jumps into the neutral zone. Both teams look to the ref to see if he's going to throw a flag.
Including homeboy that had just, he like stands up after he
like,
does it and
"Shit."
turns. And I was like,
deer in the headlights, like,
dude even knows he just committed a penalty.
yeah, hand in the cookie jar,
Yeah,
looks
like,
to the ref.
Oh no. Ooh, that was
And
me.
the
I
ref
did
like reaches for the whistle and then just like stops.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots snap the ball once the guy's safely back.
Right, reset.
And that would have been a first down if someone could have either snapped the ball while the guy was in the neutral zone, or apparently, and this is something that I learned.
Yeah.
So whatever. If a Patriots player, while the Jaguar player was like jumping into the line of scrimmage, if a Patriots player just also jumps, they blow the play dead, and then that's a flag on Jacksonville.
Right.
Nobody fucking moved a muscle, much to Bill Belichick's chagrin, as he like lit up, I think it was Brandon King, I think is his name, some rando ass special
Sure.
teamer on the Patriots for not just like literally jumping out and hitting the guy on the shoulder pads, which
Right.
would have, they blow the play dead and you get a first down.
Right. Yeah. And
Bullshit.
yeah. Well,
I thought we were supposed to be like the king of special
that's
teams.
exactly what I was about to
The
say.
fuck is this shit?
Is like Bill prides himself on all three phases of the game. And like we were talking before that the Patriots carry more players that are special teams only players
Dedicated special teamers,
than
yeah.
any other team in the league.
If you're thinking to yourself, who the hell is Brandon King? Exactly.
That's why. And it's like, that's your moment. This is your moment, bro, to contribute to the team and to like advance the ball and have a part in
yeah, have an impact on the game.
the comeback. And you just stand there.
yeah, brutal.
Let this guy, who even he knows he fucked up, be like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
It was clear to everyone in the stadium and watching at home that he had fucked up,
Yeah.
but it's just nobody did anything about it.
Right.
And like, you can't expect refs to bail you out of situations like that. You got to like this is like Bill O'Brien last week saying it's not his job to call a timeout to let the refs review it. It's like, no. It is your job.
Yeah.
You have to manipulate the game to your advantage. Like when you see someone jump off sides, you're not just like, all right, ref, this one's on you. Blow that
Yeah.
whistle. What? No shit. And then
That's not
like,
how this works?
you have to
Oh,
like
no.
force the issue. And again, like you're a special teamer. Most special teams plays are perfunctory.
Right.
Some of them aren't. And sometimes like they fucking matter a lot. That would have been huge.
Oh, that would have
If
been.
they could have kept the ball there, offense comes back on the field, and who the fuck knows what could have
Right.
happened. Brady
what-
probably would have gotten strip sack, but whatever. It's not a big deal.
No, that happened later. It's fine. It's
yeah,
just
not
one of
great.
those times where like the Patriot way, you just expect them to capitalize on those opportunities. And
For sure.
that's how like they win games, is they are smarter than the other team on
Yeah.
the field.
Yeah.
And they
generally more well coached and know
Right.
the rule book and all that.
Better
crap.
prepared, know
all
the weird
all that
things.
praise we usually give them.
right. And you give Brady a chance to, drive down the field, make a comeback. And it was like you had the opportunity, it was there. The other team was dumb. And Jacksonville is like their thing that held them back in week 1 was the number of penalties they got. Like that was the big knock on them from week 1.
Yeah.
And I think they won the game
Yeah, they beat the
in
Giants,
week
yeah.
1. But week 1. But they got a ton of flags. And it was like the Patriots could take advantage of that. And like they can play sloppy sometimes. And there it was. And we were just like, duh,
Yeah.
on the other side of the ball.
Yeah. And I mean, it seemed like yesterday on Sunday was just one of those days where everything was going Jacksonville's way up until that point of the game. Like it was like Jacksonville just balling out of control with one-handed catches. And
Oh my
there
God.
was
That Cole catch.
that was ridiculous.
Fucking
that was
sick.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
There was a Jacksonville fumble earlier in the game that basically worked like a bounce pass in basketball that just went right to another Jaguar player
Yeah,
to run
yeah.
to a first down. Like it was like one of those days
Yeah.
for the Jaguars where it's just like, okay, like this is your fucking Super Bowl. You're balling out of control. Everything's going your way. And then the third quarter rolls around and whoever it was fumbled, and then Bortles throws that pick, and then there was that fourth down moment where you were like, oh man, that really would have kept the momentum swinging, because they really tried to give that game away and the Patriots weren't able to capitalize.
Well, and I think someone was even quoted from Jacksonville saying like at the end of the game, like they started getting nervous when that was happening. And, and I think we'll get to our defense in a second, but I think one of the things that happens, you mentioned how hot it was out on the field. And it's like defenses, when they have to stay on the field for a long time, start getting tired, and then they
yeah.
start making mistakes, and they're not as great in coverage. And it's like, yeah, we couldn't keep them on the field long enough
Right.
for them to actually be
For that to
impacted
have
by
an
the
effect.
heat. Yeah.
The Jacksonville defense, spent most of the time getting blown on by fans on
Yeah.
the fucking sideline.
Just a photo shoot on a catwalk, their hair blowing in the wind.
All right, you want to talk
Anyway.
about the Patriots defense?
I'm sure.
Lack thereof?
Yeah, boy, were we wrong after week 1.
Yep.
We were all sunshine and rainbows about the defense.
Sure
Just like,
were.
oh, here they are. They're back. This is a Bill Belichick defense again.
Yeah. Giving
Way to go, Brian Flores.
Brian Flores, all
Yeah.
sorts of credit.
Just-
Dumping on Patricia.
Yeah.
Man, those were the days, huh?
And now,
Pats D got smoked. I mean, it looked like
the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, oh, I know, I've seen this story before.
Yeah.
Fucking mediocre pedestrian quarterback literally looks like Joe Montana when you play the Patriots, like picking them apart.
well, and I think, going into the week, you heard like, oh, Fournette's out
Yeah,
with the
fuck yeah.
leg. I was like, oh, and that's their whole offense, right? They're like a running team because they got goddamn Blake Bortles.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what he looked like? Fucking Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Just crushing down the field.
Just turn him into a
Yeah.
fucking superhero.
Yeah.
Play the Patriots.
I think one thing that we can learn, and I'm terrified that other teams are going to learn this, is like if you stay aggressive with your pass game, even if you don't have a great quarterback, you can beat the Patriots because
Yeah.
you can pick them apart. And like they're not great at pulling it back together in the secondary and like stopping the pass game.
Yeah, and
Clearly.
it was all, and again, like I don't know if I'm really that afraid of Jacksonville in like a playoff game in January. This was their Super Bowl. I predicted a loss.
You did. You were right.
And so like it played out not exactly like I would have expected. Like I didn't expect a runaway. That game
Right.
felt like a runaway.
Yeah,
The thing with the Heat too is like, as much as I would love to blame the Heat for the shittiness of the Patriots defensive play, but like 3 scores in the first quarter. Like
Right. It's before they were even tired.
Yeah, before any of the real, war of attrition sort of started to could take place. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty brutal all the way around. Trey Flowers got hurt.
And Patrick
Patrick Chung got hurt. Dietrich Wise Jr. left the game. It looked like he broke his finger or something like that.
Yeah,
So probably
he should
nothing
be
that's like
back.
super serious. But
But Chung and Flowers are both in concussion protocol.
yeah, it's not good.
Just not great.
It's not good. We were praising the pass rush last week.
Right.
And speaking of last week, Houston went on to lose to the Tennessee Titans, who really suck,
Yeah. So
giving them their first win of the season. So it's like that continues to look like, we said last week, like we'll see how the Texans do to sort of rank this win.
yeah. It's interesting because I feel like before seasons, people always try to do like strength of schedule assessments.
Yeah.
But like
Always
going
tough.
into the season, you would have said like, oh, that Houston game's tough. But if they end
Totally.
up 4-12, you're gonna be like, well, that wasn't such a hard game,
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah, it's always that's a moving point
Yeah.
throughout the season for sure.
Because it depends how that team ends up looking at the end of the year, how tough your schedule actually was.
Yeah. Hey, so we got a call on something that's related to this.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I do.
It's relevant to our conversation right now.
Okay.
Regarding defense struggling, offense struggling, team struggling. Here's Dan from Concord.
Hi, this is Dan from Concord. The Patriots are severely lacking in the defensive secondary and in their receiving core. I think the former is a bigger issue, especially with the absence of Flowers, resulting in a lack of pass rush. Belichick gets a chance to upgrade at D-back or at receiver. What do you think is the better move?
Upgrade at defensive back or receiver. Now, since this call came in, this was on Sunday
Yeah,
night.
right.
They have obviously addressed, or at least we think they've addressed the wide receiver position, assuming Josh Gordon is someone that works out and actually plays football.
We should make a plea to all the drug dealers in the Boston area.
Leave him alone.
Don't sell anything
Leave
to
him
him.
alone.
Let him. Just tell him we're a drug-free state. We don't have them. It's fine.
Or wait for the shit to get fully legalized and then whatever.
Yeah. and- well,
But
yeah.
it's still banned in the NFL.
Right. That's the problem.
They don't
It's
care
just
about
like
that
a pop
shit.
for a test. Anyway.
So if you could only have one, let's say, cornerback or a wide receiver.
I would go with an upgrade on defense.
Yeah?
At this point in any fucking position. Because they're going to get Julian Edelman back in week 5, I guess, because
Yeah.
4-game suspension, right? So I think your need is addressed there in a lot of ways. And then once you have Julian Edelman back, it changes the way that defenses have to play against you because now you can't just double team Gronk and let Hogan and James White beat you. Like now you have 2 real threats that like Brady likes to go to. And so it just changes that a little bit.
For sure.
So I would take the upgrade on defense. What about you?
See, I think I would go receiver Only because I think the impact that one supremely talented wide receiver can have on your offense is greater than the impact that whatever corner or that they would pick up would have. Like if you go out and you sign like, let's just assume the Patriots aren't going to go out and get fucking Aqib Talib or like a really good elite corner at this point in the season. Like
Sure.
they might get someone, but they're not going to be like the equivalent of Josh Gordon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just from a talent perspective, like they're not going to make that move. So I'm just going to go ahead and not think of it in terms of that. Like I think that just the impact that a really good wide receiver can have on the offense is greater than whatever impact the cornerback is going to have on the defense. Like the defense is more than just, let me put it this way. The defense is more than just one corner away from being really good. I think the offense, because you still have Tom Brady, is potentially one or maybe two receivers away, Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, from being really good.
Sure, I can see that. I guess I just look at it as like the Patriots haven't struggled putting up points. They've struggled putting up more points than the other team. You know what I mean? And so like if you can stop the other team from putting up a touchdown a game, like look at let's go back to the Super Bowl. We love talking about that. Like
if you stop them once.
If you stopped him once,
right.
So if that guy can make one play, even with this game, like if they could have stopped him once, maybe we would have had a chance for momentum. Like I'm thinking about that third quarter. We just talked about the, first play after we punted it and he runs. If someone could have stopped that guy from running the 61-yard touchdown in,
right.
like, okay, well now it's still 24-10 and now you're 2 scores down instead of 3. And like that is a big difference in the way that your offense can work too.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But I just think that the way the Patriots are built is like, they got to be able to score. Like if they can't score on like an elite level consistently, like 30 plus points, like basically per game, high 20s at least, they're porked. Like they're just not built to win low scoring games and win on defense and win by running the ball and all that stuff. Like that's Jacksonville. Their game plan was to like score early and then salt that shit away. They did exactly that.
Yeah.
And their team, it's like a ball control, like possession thing where they want to get a lead and then they're just going to sit on you and let their defense just run wild and ruin your day. And like the Patriots, they're just not built that way. Like they've got to be able to score in the 30s or high 20s to be successful. And I feel like they might be one piece away from doing that week in, week out. And the defense is like, it is what it is. Like it's not going to be changed with like one player unless it's fucking Khalil Mack or something like, but they're not going to get a guy like that. They're just going to get a guy. That's their whole defense is just a bunch of fucking rando scrubs basically.
Right.
So yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll see. Next week we got
Detroit.
Yeah, old friend Matt Patricia.
Yeah, in Detroit. Dome game. I think they play in a dome, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they play in a dome.
Sure. Seems reasonable.
What's your thoughts on next week?
Oh, I think the Patriots are going to fucking destroy Matt Patricia. Because I think people look at it and are like, oh, but he knows Brady. And he knows Jimmy G too. And, Jimmy was able to win over him this week in San Fran. And, Jimmy Garoppolo, as much as I love him, is not Tom Brady. Like the 49ers offense is not the same as the Patriots offense. And so I think as much as Patricia knows Brady and Josh McDaniels know Patricia too. And they're just going to school him.
Yeah, you don't think Patricia knew the New York Jets, who he plays twice, who he had been playing twice a year since 2012 as a member of the Patriots? He got his doors blown off in week one.
Smoked him.
Fuck the familiarity. Yeah, Patricia's going to get lit the fuck up. I think the Patriots are going to I think this is going to be like an on to Cincinnati-esque, like just trouncing of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
I think
they're coming off a bad loss. It's like it's a Sunday night game, so national spotlight.
Yeah, and the Patriots are going to blow doors.
It's funny. People talk a lot about the Bill Belichick coaching tree and how no one's been successful coming from it. And I think Bill gets off on just destroying those guys that used to work for him.
It's funny too. In our episode a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Bill O'Brien, we were talking about the coaching tree thing. We were recording on a Monday night and the Monday Night Football game was on sort of in the background, but we weren't really paying attention to it. And as we were having a conversation about the Bill Belichick coaching tree, the latest member, Matt Patricia, was just getting decimated on opening night for his team. So
I didn't even realize
that was funny because we were like watching ish, but not really.
Yeah. Well, we watched Matt Stafford get his intestines ruptured.
So yeah, I think they're gonna fucking roll.
Yeah.
And I'm not really. Are you like nervous? Does this Jacksonville loss make you feel like scared about like does it tell you anything that you didn't already know about this Patriots team?
No. If this had been week 12,
But
I'd
yeah,
be nervous.
I
Week
agree.
2, no, I'm not, because it's Bill Belichick, and I think he doesn't care what happens in September.
Not really.
He plays in a shit division, so he's not worried. Okay, Miami's 2-0 right now. Okay, he's not worried about Ryan Tannehill coming and like taking the division from him.
Right.
So no, I don't think that he's concerned. I'm not concerned. I don't like when they lose, but I think that's like the ego of Patriots fans at this point. Is you're like, oh, they lost. My God, how terrible. And I was like, oh, is this how like shitty teams feel all the time? It
Yeah.
must be.
Well, the thing is most teams go into every year not really knowing what to expect from their from their group. You
Right.
know, and it's like you just said about the schedule. It's like a lot of people thought Houston was really good. It turns out they might really suck. Or a
Right.
lot of people thought the Saints were going to go to the Super Bowl, and now they're 0-2. Like, you know, they're not 0-2. They're 1-1. But whatever. Beat the fucking Browns barely. And so like, you know, as Patriots fans, we are conditioned to be like, at this point, especially too, after, you know, a 2-2 start in the Kansas City Massacre in 2014,
Oh, yeah.
they go on to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
A 1-1 start in 2015, they go to the AFC Championship game. 16, they start 2-2 and win the Super Bowl. 17, they go whatever they did last year, I think
Yeah.
2-2 again. You know, losing that Carolina game, losing the season opener to Kansas City, they go to the. It's just like, we've been down this road.
Right.
Like we've seen them struggle in the early part of the season. It's like, whatever, man. Like we'll see you in January.
It always
Enjoy
feels
your Super
like
Bowl, Jacksonville.
yeah,
you
penny
fucking
when it's
rednecks.
happening, and it's like, oh my God, they're losing. They lost. This is the end. Tom Brady's too old. And
Yeah.
then by New Year's Eve, we're like, yeah, fucking Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. No one will ever beat him because they're 12-4
Right.
and crushing people. Anyway,
I'm not scared. You're not scared. I'm not scared.
perfect. We're tough.
Regards. All right, so can I just throw a quick non sequitur in here real quick?
Yeah, I want to.
Hard, like, left turn.
Yeah.
Getting off the Patriots entirely.
Okay.
So I got a quick Red Sox take.
Okay.
So this week they won 100 wins. Blah, 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 blah. They clinched a playoff spot, I think the
Sure.
night before the 100th win. And then this week they will presumably
yeah.
clinch the division. Right.
Right.
I have
At like 105 wins.
yeah, insane,
stupid.
which is insane.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the way that they've approached all these. I'm going to put air quotes. No, forget the air quotes. Accomplishments. I was
Yeah.
going to air quote accomplishments, but they're accomplishments. Winning 100 wins is an accomplishment.
Yeah, they haven't done it in
They haven't
70 years.
Right. So like just the way that I think they did like some sort of champagne toast or something like that
Oh.
after the playoff clinch. It wasn't like a big spraying of the beer goggles and all
Yeah.
that stuff. They literally just like cheersed with something.
Oh, I like
which
that's
was
classy.
cool. 100 wins. They didn't do anything over the top or anything like that.
Yeah.
All the interviews they've been giving, Alex Cora, fucking on down, has basically been like, yeah, it's cool. We're proud. It's a good team. We've had a great year, but like we're here to win a World Series. They've been like totally eye on the ball, like focused on bigger things. Even David Price, for Christ's sakes, as much as I don't like David Price, I
Yeah.
don't like giving him credit for stuff. He was quoted this week. He was asked, I forget who asked him the question, but it was like, you know, you've been pitching your boobs off for the last like 6 or 7 weeks. Like, how do you feel? And he was like, in his David Pricey way, but this was like better. It's a step in the right direction for him. He was like, you know, I could go 35-0 in the regular season, and ultimately what matters is, you know, whether or not we win in the playoffs.
Yeah. I like
Just
that
like,
attitude from him.
Oh my God, David Price.
Finally.
Was that so fucking hard?
Right.
Did it take you like
Did you-
3 years to figure that
Right.
out? That yes, you're exactly correct.
If you had said
If
that
you
on
did
year
go
one-
35-0 and then shit your pants in October, we wouldn't like you.
Right.
And that's why we don't.
Right.
Because you've done basically that, not 35-0, but like, you know, you've been a good regular season pitcher and a bad postseason pitcher since forever. So
Right.
yes, exactly. So I just want to give them a little bit of credit for handling this the way that they have. I really don't like division championship celebrations. Champagne and all that bullshit for winning the division. What's your take on that?
I don't mind it there. I don't like the playoff clinch celebration. Like, because at this point, clinching a playoff spot means you could play a 1-game play-in. Like,
Yeah, right.
Don't celebrate that.
And if you're that good, you should not be like,
right.
it's like a
You
fucking
shouldn't be
foregone
celebrating
conclusion at
that.
some point. Like, yes,
Right.
it's just
It-
like that's an assumed thing
Right.
that you do as a team that's close to 100 wins,
Yeah.
anywhere in the ballpark.
The
of
Red
100
Sox
wins.
did not. It was not a last game of the season
No
playoff
dramatics,
clinch
no
that you're
theatrics.
celebrating. Like, I like the idea that maybe they had a glass of champagne, they did a little toast,
Move on.
commemorate the experience. I don't need a t-shirt. I don't need the hats. I don't need the goggles every
Yeah.
time. I think when you clinch the division, that is a big accomplishment. Like, I'm actually more okay with that celebration.
Yeah,
I still would appreciate the just simple, like, toast.
I would
it's way
love
classier.
Nothing more if Cora shut down any sort of like wild celebration of the division
tarps
clinching.
in the locker room. Like, I think that would be way more badass. And like, if you want to do that, fine, do it when no one's there and like be crazy. But like, if your on-air team celebration was just a like,
buttoned up, like we don't give a
plastic
shit about
champagne
this. We're
glass,
trying
maybe
to
y'all
win
got a
World
red
Series.
Solo cup and you just like do a little cheers. Like, sign me up for that.
I would love nothing more
all
than that.
day.
You know what the problem is? I think that Major League Baseball like
Makes
sponsors these events. Like it's
Yeah.
like the Bud Light post game celebration
Yeah, well,
from whatever.
You can all clink with a Bud Light bottle then.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
So I
Get
think
some
there might-
aluminum
I
bottles.
think there might be some contractual obligations getting in the way there, but I would
shoot it all over
oh
the
my
place.
god, I would stand up and applaud if
Yeah.
they just respectfully declined. Like if they win, well, from the looks of it, they're not going to play today because it's raining balls in Boston. So maybe
Well, they're
it's
in
also
in
raining
New
balls
York.
in New York. But I think it's raining balls basically on the entire East Coast
Yeah.
right now. But anyways, yeah, if they clinch today and they just are like, yeah, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks to the fucking wild ass champagne celebration, I'll take it. It's fucking biblical out there.
Yeah, I
huh?
don't think my raincoat's gonna help with this. I need an arc.
Come on,
Anyway.
think of a good pun that can transition us from talking about a rainstorm to talking about a lightning round. Is there one out there? Maybe not. All right, let's just get to it then.
All right, lightning round.
Let's do it.
I want to ask you this question because I've been thinking about it for 2 days.
Okay.
The Packers and the Packers and Vikings they
Yeah.
played. They ended up in a tie after no one scored in overtime.
Yep.
This is the second tie in 2 weeks of the NFL season.
True.
Fucking bonkers.
Yeah. 3 columns on the record.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever.
1-0-1 are the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah. Do you think that the overtime rules need to be changed to avoid ties? And if so, what would you change?
I don't think the overtime rules need to be changed to avoid ties.
Really?
Yeah, I like ties.
I hate ties.
You know why I like ties?
Why?
Because it's the most frustrating outcome of all time. Like it just drives people nuts. That's why I love them.
No other sport ends in a tie other than soccer.
Okay, well, that's a pretty big fucking sport, first of all. And
people in
second
America
of all,
hate soccer.
I know. People in America hate ties. This is why I love the tie.
Yeah, we're a
I
competitive
love-
nation.
I
We
love
want to
the
win.
idea of
That's why we get into wars, so we can win.
I love the idea of what transpired on Sunday of a shitload of Packers fans and a shitload of Vikings fans all leaving, 60, 70,000 people all leaving that stadium just fucking jammed up. Like
Yeah,
no one's
no
happy.
one's happy.
It's awesome. I love it.
The
I think
only
it's great.
fan base
Make
that's
the
ever
kick, you freaking boob.
the kickers were
Make the kick.
brutal this week. The only team that fan base has ever been happy with a goddamn tie is the Cleveland Browns in week 1.
I think it's amazing. I love it. I
Oh,
love I
God.
love how frustrating it is for everybody involved. I think they should I'm in on the tie.
It like fucks up playoff seating.
Oh yeah, it's a nightmare.
It's a jam.
I love it. Okay, speaking of the Browns,
Yeah. And kickers.
if their kicker wasn't a total sap, they could actually be 2-0. If he could fucking jam anything through the uprights. In the first game of the season, he's missed a 43-yard field goal that would have won it. And this week, week 2, he missed 2 field goals and 2 extra points. He was released after the game this week.
No shit.
The question is, do you hold kickers responsible for things like this, or is it just the kind of thing that happens when you are a bad franchise like the Browns?
Yeah, I went back and forth on this for a while because, like, it's easy to hold the kicker responsible and be like, oh, that guy should have hit the fucking field goal.
Yeah, like
but you could
Gostkowski.
also say, like, well, the offense should have scored a touchdown. Like, they shouldn't be so reliant on field goals that it's, like, make or break.
Sure.
I am going to hold him responsible for missing the 2-point afters, though.
Come on. You kicked the
You
ball
can't.
4 times in the game.
You
We missed all
can't.
4 times.
What are you doing here? You're an NFL professional, and you're going back to, like, you have one job.
You literally have one
It's
job.
to kick the football. And if you can't hit the point afters, you get the yips. You're
Yeah,
out.
what are we doing
You
here?
can't be here anymore.
Yeah,
He's
I mean-
gone. The Vikings kicker's gone too. Everyone's gone.
You want to hear a funny clip from the Vikings kicker thing?
Yeah, I do.
So Mike Zimmer coach of the Vikings,
Yeah.
had a funny thing to say when he fired his guy. Here it is.
What went into the decision today to let Daniel Carlson go?
Did you see the game?
Was it an easy decision?
Yep, pretty easy.
What went into the decision to release Daniel Carlson? Did you see the game? Was it an easy decision? Yep, pretty easy.
They've both already picked up new kickers. And the Vikings actually, I think, upgraded because they picked up, I can't remember the guy's name now, but he was the kicker on Dallas last year.
Yeah.
And it was kind of surprising that he didn't have a job.
Well, why was he available? I assume he was available for a reason.
I think Dallas just had a cheaper kicker that they could go with. And so they went with him.
Yeah, what a bunch of fucking sackless douchebags.
Yeah. Idiot.
All right, next.
Anyway, David Wright from the Mets announced this week that
Remember him?
Yeah. He announced this week that he will not be medically able to play baseball anymore after September. I didn't know he was even still playing. So it turns out he hasn't played a game since May 2016, but he's still due to be paid $27 million by the Mets over the next 2 seasons. The Mets are planning a send-off for him. He's going to come back and play one last game at the end of September. Do you think any sport does this kind of pomp and circumstance better than baseball? And then unrelated question, do stories like this make you for or against guaranteed contracts like this one?
Does anybody do this sort of pomp and circumstance better than baseball? You could also phrase that. Does anybody do this sort of pomp and circumstance worse than baseball, depending on your perspective?
True.
Yeah, it's always just weird when they all these baseball guys sign these wicked long contracts and you forget that they even existed.
Right.
And then you're like, oh shit, that guy's still, the thing is nobody ever like goes out on top in baseball. It doesn't seem like everybody like wallows in obscurity until eventually something like this happens. You're like, oh yeah, David Wright? Forgot about him.
Yeah.
What's his deal? Haven't heard that name in a while. I don't know. I think it kind of leads to unceremonious exits, versus as opposed to a sport like football or a contact sport where like when you're done and people sort of know it. Like you don't just kind of, you go out with a bang, not with a whimper,
Well, I look at like the David Ortiz farewell tour. We had like a whole season of cities
That was
giving
annoying.
him things, and it was irritating.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I say the pomp and circumstance. Anybody do it worse than baseball? Like I don't know why it's the only sport where people do that. I don't know.
I just
Like
think,
where they have like
yeah.
big long ceremonies
Yeah.
before every away game all year for Mariano Rivera or Derek
Right,
Jeter
Derek
or
Jeter.
David Ortiz or whatever. It's like, I guess one team does it, then everybody else feels like they have to do it. Like they go to fucking San Diego, a team they never even play, and he gets gifted a surfboard before the game. So
yeah.
this is stupid.
bizarre.
So no, I'm not a big fan.
Okay.
Not a big fan.
But
Good for David Wright. I mean,
Yeah.
he's ending his career because he has, what is he, some sort of spinal? You
Spinal
said it earlier?
stenosis.
I don't know what that is, but it doesn't sound good.
It's not great.
It doesn't sound good.
2 small kids. It was weird when they
Two small
like
kids? What do you mean?
he has 2 small kids
Oh,
too.
they all.
They don't have it.
Oh,
but
okay. I didn't know if that was like a related fact to the fact that he has some.
No. It's some like spine thing. They said he'll never be able to play again. He's gonna play this one game, but well, I don't know. Whatever.
Yikes! Good luck.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's a fun one.
Yeah.
Weird story.
Yeah.
Speaking of retirement, Vontae Davis walked off the field in Buffalo at halftime this week, put on his street clothes, left the building. He apparently decided he didn't want to play football anymore and announced his retirement just after the game.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, does this taint the lasting view of his career, or is it kind of a ballsy move?
I think it taints his career a little. Like you're always going to be known as he's like a great corner. Like he's had a good solid career with like a couple different teams, and now he's always going to be known as the guy that retired at halftime.
I love it.
Oh no, I think and he had of course now all his like old tweets are resurfacing about like you can't quit, like you got to play and be tough and be out there and support your team. And now he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And
I love it.
Pieces out. He pulls himself from the game, changes, and leaves.
Got in an Uber pool.
Yeah. He was like, I'm fucking
Picked
done
up a couple
here.
people on the way to the airport.
Yeah,
got the fuck right out of Buffalo.
It's ballsy. I'll give him that. But like,
It's just wild. Feels like something that like Carl Everett or some crazy person would do. Like, I don't know. Just like a weird way
that's
to
what
go.
it is. That's why I think it taints it. It's a weird thing
quite
to
the
do.
opposite of the farewell tour. Just the
just
deuces at halftime.
I can't do this shit anymore.
I'm out.
I'm too old for this shit. He just runs
Yeah, like
out.
imagine. Like, I wonder if it was like after like a particular play where he was just like, "Ow, fuck, What am I doing out here? I'm rich.
Yeah.
What is ridiculous?
I mean, you can't pull yourself from the game and just stay on the sidelines with your team.
No, that's loser mentality. Get out of there. Clean break.
He like Irish goodbye the whole team.
Yeah, he Irish
just
goodbye
left.
the league.
Yeah. He was like, I'm out. I'm done. That's a weird one.
Next.
Urban Meyer. Yikes. Cannot get out of his own way. He is facing a major PR crisis, basically saying that he covered up a domestic violence charge against one of his assistant coaches. Ohio State suspended him for the first 3 games of this season. He could still coach in weeks 2 and 3, just not in the game. Bizarre suspension. Do you think that the head coach should be that responsible for the actions of their employees? And then when will these people learn how to handle these questions in press conferences? Because he got up there this week and he once again just stepped in it. Like he can't fucking figure out what to say. You can just say, i.e. the Celtics that we talked about at the beginning, domestic violence is a terrible thing and it's something that should be taken seriously.
And not something that this organization stands for.
Right.
Done.
I don't.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with the press conference is that I think this is a case where he does not feel as if he did anything wrong.
Right.
So he has a hard time saying the right things in a press conference because in his mind he is innocent of any sort of wrongdoing. If there is one position in all of sports that I don't feel bad for, it's college head coaches, particularly giant big names like Urban Meyer or Lane Kiffin or any of these guys, because they're like fucking gods. And they get paid gazillions of dollars and have total control over their organizations, total control over their players, they're like
Be all end all.
Nick Saban, Joe Paterno, like all these guys, they fucking walk on water in their little weird, self-contained universe of these universities. And like, I just cannot feel bad for anybody who is getting like raked over the coals. And I think Urban Meyer totally deserves it. And yeah, man, that was your guy. He fucked up. You decided to ignore it.
Right.
And it's like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Like, do you read the newspaper?
I think what's interesting is like you're
And
not,
also, he's not even getting really punished. He's missing 3 games. Big fucking deal.
like you're not being held responsible for what he did. You're being held responsible because you knew and didn't do anything about it. Like basically someone on your staff is committing a crime. And I don't know why people get confused with this fine line here. Because like if the guy had been accused of robbing a bank, you wouldn't have any problem being like,
yeah, you gotta go.
You gotta go. You can't work here. What are you doing?
Right.
But because he, slaps his wife around, you're like, well, I mean, we don't know the whole story. Well, hold on,
Yeah.
bro.
like,
What, do you have to
yeah,
kill her
well,
before you know the whole story? Like, where's your line, Urban? Anyway, stupid ass.
I agree.
Okay.
Oh, this one's...
Wow.
I just
I'm
looked
so
over and you're
excited.
smiling like a loon. All right, so here's a crazy stat that Melissa really likes.
I love it.
Milwaukee Brewers outfielder Kristen Yelich making his first appearance on the Titletown Sports Podcast,
Yeah.
for sure.
Many of you probably don't know who he is.
Became the first player in Major League history to hit for the cycle against the same team twice in one season on Monday night. He hit for the cycle against the Cincinnati Reds in August and then again in September. Melissa, is this your favorite random play? And when I say random play, safeties, hat tricks, hitting for the cycle, things of that nature. I would say half court buzzer beating shots in basketball.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And do you think these random, what did we call them before?
Inconsequential.
Inconsequential stats
can't think
or
of what we call
achievements
them. Yeah.
are important in sports. Here's a bit different question. How much do you love this Kristen
I
Yelich
fucking
cycle story?
Love this story. I love this story.
Why?
I don't know why. I get so excited when someone, like, obviously we all know I love a safety.
Yeah.
I get so excited when someone hits for the cycle. And I think it's because it's the reason we all watch sports
What?
is that you don't, I'm getting there. Relax. Is that you don't know what's going to happen on any given night, right? Like you don't know when you're going to see something you've never seen before.
For sure.
And something that like happens rarely and at the end of the day has no impact on the game. Like
Very
it would be
little impact.
way better if that guy hit 4 home runs than hitting for the cycle.
Yeah.
But it's like a random achievement and it's a weird accomplishment and it doesn't happen very often. And so I think it's exciting.
Revs your engine.
It gets me pumped when these weird ass things happen in games. And I do think it's because of the like there are still records to be broken and to be set.
Yeah, anytime you hear the first time in Major League Baseball
Yeah.
history, I'm listening.
Right.
So I'll give you that. 'cause
It's weird.
They've been playing baseball for a long time.
A long ass fucking time. And I don't know. There's just like,
So is that your favorite? Cycle, safety, hat trick, half court shot.
I do think the cycle might be my favorite. Probably after this, I'll come up with something else.
I'll tell you what. I don't care about the cycle, but when I do care about the cycle, if you're in the park.
Yeah.
Like if you're at the game, it's very exciting because you're like, there's a very specific outcome that you're rooting for at that fourth at bat.
Right.
And you're like, if he gets this one very specific thing, that will be extremely exciting. And
Especially if he
that
gets
happens,
the
then that's
triple early.
great. Yeah. Well, that's, usually
Triple's the hardest one.
that's usually what sets the scene.
Do you think that?
Any other context though, if I'm not in the building, I don't give a fuck about the cycle.
Well, let's say it's your fourth at bat and the only one you need is a single. Do you
But
just
see, that's
stop
what sucks
at first?
about it. It's just like they would.
I would just stop.
That's when they start selling out for the fucking cycle, and it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I don't know.
You
I
love
think
it.
it's
That's
more
fine.
exciting
I
than
don't
the.
wanna- I'm not trying to yuck your yum. It's cool. You should enjoy the cycle. If you're into it, then be into it. Late breaking lightning round question.
Yeah,
Came in the form of a voicemail.
I like it.
Let's give it a whirl.
Hi, this is Bill George from the Should I Go See It podcast. Long
Shameless
time,
plug.
first time. I didn't know if you guys saw that Sports Illustrated put out their list of the 100 best NBA players for the upcoming season. The Celtics had 6 players on it, so did the Golden State Warriors. Those teams had the most from their squad on the list. And I was curious if you had any takes from it. If you read it, if you agree, disagree. And then also, when it comes to these rankings and lists in general, what do you think they are? A fun exercise to get ready for the season, or what do you think it's just a waste of time and hot air? Thanks for taking my call.
All right, top 100 lists. Fun way to get excited for the season or a waste of time in hot air? Specifically so Sports Illustrated put out this 100 best players list in the NBA.
I think if you're like an NBA diehard, it is an exciting way to get people like jazzed up for the season. In the NBA in particular, their players are so recognizable, and there's not necessarily a million of them. Like a football team has 53 players on it. You're not going to know all of those guys. In the NBA, you will know all the players that play on your team and recognize them.
For sure.
And so I think like for people that are super into basketball, it's like a fun way to get excited and to say like, oh, my guy got robbed. And like, how can you rank him so low? Or like, whoa, look how high this guy's rated. And it's like a fun exercise.
You know which one I like a lot? The NFL does one every year, and they poll the players. Players ranking other players.
Yes.
You've got my attention.
Yeah.
This SI thing was like 2 dickheads who write for SI, just like ranking their favorite 100 NBA guys, which is like, all right, like, yeah, I could make a list. You know what I mean? Like lists,
100's a lot.
I couldn't
have that kind of
get that
stamina.
far. Like Penny Hardaway. So is he still around? So it's like, all right, sure. Like I like the sports radio, like arguing about who's above who. Like those are like all like, barstool type arguments, not the website, like the metaphor of being in a bar.
Yeah.
But the actual list itself, like it's just put together by 2 guys who are like basketball writers. That when they do like player surveys and they like rank them like that, like that's when it's like, all right, well now this is coming from the real.
Yeah, I do like
the
that.
real shit.
Because then you know who's good and who they fucking hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean,
like
that's
that
like
too.
Brady's been on top of that, like top 50 or whatever for like years and years. You got people like, and they always do the interviews, which are really cool. Like you got like Ray Lewis talking about like,
Why someone's
Yeah,
ranked
yeah,
where
yeah,
they are.
yeah.
Yeah.
so those are cool. This
Yeah.
one I didn't really care about. You know what I did care about though?
What?
Al Horford ranked higher than Kyrie Irving. What are we doing here, guys?
Really?
Yeah.
All right. What about
It was like 16, 17. Horford,
Okay.
Kyrie. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
So
Do
yeah,
you?
hopefully this week we
What are you,
see
dropping a
Red
bomb on
Sox
me here? Oh.
clinch the division.
Yeah. Oh my God. I hope
And
so.
we'll hopefully
Jesus Christ.
see-
If they don't clinch the division this week, we're going to come back with some hot Red Sox takes.
Yeah. They got it.
Because some of the bad's going down.
They have to. And we'll hopefully see a nice, healthy Sunday Night Football win in Detroit.
Yeah.
And all will be right in the universe.
Right. And then we'll all feel great about the Patriots again, and they will be number 1, and we don't need anything.
In our hearts and minds.
Hopefully Josh Gordon makes a couple of big plays
Fuck
this week.
yeah. Let's go Flash.
I'm ready.
in.
I'm ready.
I'm all
I'm
in.
ready for him to turn it around.
Yeah. We didn't spend too much time on Josh Gordon this week because we're going to wait and see if he's good or bad. And then next week we'll talk about it
He hasn't really played enough in the last 3
without making
seasons.
predictions.
We can just basically consider him a rookie at this point. Like, I don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah.
He's got a new clothing line coming out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's
Got a
how
lot
we
of secret pockets.
just built in lighter.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
Later.